now that we have the Republican counter proposal on COVID stimulus, where they effectively want to give you basically nothing, and would be perfectly happy to literally give you nothing, what's going to happen? Because there's all these calls for unity and bipartisanship and all that. And there are some Republicans, 10, who are going to be meeting with Joe Biden, and we know what Joe Biden is like. So is this a time where we should be prioritizing bipartisanship? Here is Bernie Sanders and what he thinks about this.
Arthur, we all want bipartisanship, and I think you're going to see more of it as we move down the pipe. But right now, this country faces an unprecedented set of crises. We have families who are watching this program right now who cannot feed their kids. We have millions of people who face eviction. We are in the midst of the worst pandemic in 100 years. We have got to act, and we have got to act now. You know what? I don't care what anybody says. We have got to deal with this pandemic. We have got to make sure that we are producing the vaccines that we need and get those vaccines into the arms of people. So the question is not bipartisanship. The question is addressing the unprecedented crises that we face right now. If Republicans want to work with us, they have better ideas on how to address those crises, that's great. But to be honest with you, I have not yet heard that.
Okay, that was good. Now look, admittedly, I'm not 100% with Bernie, because Bernie, he said in that interview, we got to get them the $1,400 checks. Like, he's seemingly okay with this new number that I understand it's a hill apparently that you can only die on, but they promised $2,000 checks if the Senate was won by the Democrats. That's what they promised, not $1,400 more dollars. But even more importantly than that, when we were talking about that, we talked about what the promise was, but what else did we talk about? We talked about how negotiations work. And if before the Republicans have even said anything, you're suddenly going lower, well then what do you know? You had promised 2,000, but now you're saying 1,400. Last week you said that might even be negotiable, and now the Republicans are saying 1,000. So did you ever want 2,000 total dollars? Because your strategy seems to indicate that either you didn't, or you don't know how the Republicans work, or you don't know how negotiations work. But something fell apart. We're just sort of like, we have to be like Sherlock and figure out exactly what the failure point was. But this is mid-failure right now.
Yeah. Look, I absolutely think you're right. I think there's no reason we shouldn't have $2,000 checks, especially if that's what Democrats promised. But I also want to say there are things in this bill, the $1.9 trillion stimulus bill, that will go far beyond an extra $400. Really, I mean, or $600. Seriously, like the fact that you were extending unpaid sick leave benefits for workers at larger companies who were excluded from the initial bills, that is huge. That is a big difference. The fact that there is more money to states. Look, right now we have the vaccine and states have no idea how to roll them out. Literally none. They need funding. We've got states that are running out of unemployment money, right? States are how a lot of people get their unemployment, of course, and they're running out of that money. So money to states absolutely matters. I just think that it is sort of in this UBI or build a social welfare state debate that I think we're gonna see more and more of as we go forward. I am of the belief that UBI is really important, especially as things become completely automated and there just aren't that many jobs in the future. That is only necessary. But at the same time, I don't think we should have UBI over dismantling the private healthcare system, right? The people who are gouging us. Like, what good is having a check if everything else around you is skyrocketing in price? If all these other industries are biting and chomping at the check that the government gives you, then there is no point of this. So I just want to sort of temper, like, I can't do a complete cost benefit analysis right now for you, but there is one, and I trust that the people who are advocating on the progressive side of the Biden administration have done this.
Yeah, a couple final points that I want to make. One, we've been through this whole pandemic, and we now know all of what Trump and the Republicans did and didn't do to produce the outcome we're at, where we just experienced a January where 95,000 Americans died. We came this close to hitting 100,000 Americans in one single month. And the fact that now, like, the position is, well, we want to make sure that people get as little aid as possible. Like, look, I value consistency in politics, and this is a position the Republicans have consistently had. But I will remind everyone, we had elections in no small part on this. Presidential election, Trump lost. Georgia sent 2 Democratic senators to flip control of the Senate. People voting in Georgia knew what they were doing. They could have said, well, we just had a Democratic president, but now we want it to be like kind of split government. They said, no, the Republican position blows. We're gonna give you Democrats. So what are the Democrats going to deliver? And the GOP doesn't care if people continue to go hungry or get evicted or lose their house. They don't care about that. They've been very clear about that. They also don't care if the Democrats negotiate themselves down to a relief bill that will technically exist, but won't solve the problem. People will still be suffering, and they're gonna remember that in the midterms and the Democrats get routed. The Republicans want that outcome. So we're waiting to see, do the Democrats understand that? And do they care about what is going to happen? Everything is lined up for as big of a stimulus bill as possible. You said what it was gonna be, and people voted in droves for it. They've already said they want it. You can check the approval ratings if you're starting to question it. It's overwhelmingly positive. So we have to see, is Biden going to do what's right?
And yes, and guess what else? You have a majority in the Senate. I know that you think you don't, but guess what? That tie-breaking vote, that is a very important vote. And you bet your ass that absolutely Republicans would have used that and would use that if they were in control right now. So use it.
100%. They were never hesitant about that. For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.